Hey, good morning. So I decided to keep going on my Torchbearer series. Ain't the most popular videos of mine out there, but I don't care. It's good for me, making me talk about it and get to learn it quicker. So a lot of people reacted on on Torchbearer, saying, it looks like a crunchy game, looks like a complicated game, looks like a heavy mechanical game and all that. And it's really not, actually. It's really, I don't know, I don't find it. Probably if you would ask me last year I would have gone like, oh, you crazy, I will never play such a game, But I don't know. Maybe Burning Wheel got me, made me do like workouts and stuff, and now I'm like all strong and fit. Bring any game. I can rule them all. I can play them all. All right, so this is gonna be a video about the Torchbearer core mechanic. So Torchbearer core mechanic is based on Mars Guard and Burning Wheel. It's really similar. So you have skills and attribute. They have exponent. I think the exponent range from 1 to 6. Not quite sure on that. Not really important though. And so basically what you do is that these exponents they will tell you how much D6 you have in your dice pool. So it's a D6 dice pool, system against an obstacle. So every time you roll for something, the GM gives you an obstacle, and you need a number of successes. That's gonna reach that obstacle or higher. So basically you have obstacles ranging from 1 to 10, and the sweet spot is between 2 and 5, and most of the rolls are gonna be around 2 and 5, and lots of rolls are gonna be of 3. And basically you roll your D6 dice pool, and 4, 5, and 6 are the successes. So if you have an obstacle 3, you need 3 successes or higher to succeed, and otherwise you fail. So that's everywhere in the game. Every time you roll a dice, that's what it is. Sometimes you have versus test, so against another roll, or you have individual tests. That's it. 2 kind of tests: versus, individual. That's the core mechanic. That's what you roll every time you roll. You don't roll anything else for no other reasons. So that's pretty cool. You don't have those sophisticated stuff like, oh, I want to grapple, so you need to roll that against that, subtract that. There's no mathematics like that. So that's the core mechanic. Now, when you want to have like a higher, you want to raise the level of difficulty, for example, you can play with your obstacle, like saying like, oh, it's gonna be obstacle 3, but it's raining and it's dark, so it's obstacle 4. So you give yourself a base obstacle for the action at hand. Let's say the guy who says, I want to climb that wall. So, that wall is a 3. All right, but it's rainy, so it'll be a 4. You give yourself a base, and you add some factors on top of that. And after a while you play, it becomes really intuitive. You just drop an obstacle, from the situation at hand, kind of thing. So it's really fluid, kind of stuff. You don't have to go with all the equations and stuff to give an obstacle. It becomes kind of intuitive after a while. And then one thing I find interesting with Torchbearer that is different from Burning Wheel is that you when you are sick, injured, thirsty, or whatever, because you have all these conditions, because you don't have HP in this game, so what you have is like conditions, and the conditions are it's called the grind, you know. And the whole idea is that you start fresh. When you're fresh, you have 1D advantage for all your rolls. So let's say you want to roll a skill of dungeoneer, or you want to roll one of your basic dungeon skills. Well, if you're fresh, you have 1D. So if you have a dungeoneer skill of 3, when you roll 4D, you know. So basically that's what it is. That's when you're fresh. Then when you start to get thirsty and and hungry, well, now you have what we call -1 success kind of thing. So I'm not sure if it's for the hungry condition. I don't know them by heart. It's not important now. But the whole idea is that when you start to have those conditions, they give you problems, you know, like when you are, for example, when you are angry, which is a condition, being angry. Well, you cannot use and learn skill that is based on will. You cannot help skills based on will and stuff like that. When you are, for example, injured, you have other kind of minus. Maybe you have -2 successes. So, for example, if you have hungry, let's say hungry and thirsty is -1 successes. Well, what you do is that when you roll, you get -1 successes on your result. So let's say, for example, obstacle was 3, you get a 3, but no, you have -1, so you get a 2. So you don't have it because you're hungry, kind of thing. So that's the difference between Burning Wheel, is the fact that the math sometimes happens after the roll instead of before the roll, which is a different kind of experience. Is it better? Is it worse? I don't know yet. But when I'm going to be playing it for a while, I'll tell you. But I find it interesting. I mean, you don't get bogged down before rolling. You roll, then you check it out. You roll, then you calculate, and it's it's interesting. Like you get to you get to be surprised, kind of thing. You roll or deceit, because you roll and then you go, no. But in Burning Wheel, when you do the math before, it kind of slow down the games a little bit, because the roll is not made already, so people are not jumping already. So you start to take away some dices, and you start to make your calculus, and you start to calculate stuff, and then you roll, and you pretty much, at this point, you pretty much know how much chance you're gonna have, and you can predict almost, you know, if you're gonna fail or lose before rolling. That's something that happens sometimes in Burning Wheel. And I gotta say, it takes away the fun a little bit, because sometimes after taking away all the dices and after calculating your chances against the obstacle, you're like, I'm not gonna have it. You roll, you don't have it. Okay, you do the bookkeeping, and it's just all right. But in Torchbearer, you kind of gotta roll, otherwise you don't know. So the hype is still there. So you roll, and then you just go, man. After, so yeah, the fun is still there. So I think Torchbearer made it right in that sense. I think probably Torchbearer got something right there. but it's still a little bit different because there's all kinds of stuff in Burning Wheel that Torchbearer doesn't have. You know, they really streamline the core mechanic, so it's totally different in that sense. But yeah, so that's basically what it is. So let's say you are in a conflict, you roll the dice, it's a fight conflict or whatever. You determine if it's going to be a versus or an individual test. Then, depending on what conflict, on what maneuver you're doing, with what weapon you're doing and all that, you add the successes or you take away the successes from your rolls after having rolled them. And that's pretty much it. You know, that's the Torchbearer core mechanic. It's you have some charts in the conflict. You have the charts, so you look at, okay, I do an attack against a feint. That's a versus test. You roll, the GM roll, I roll, boom. When the player roll, I roll. Who got the most successes? You know, and you do the math of your conditions accordingly. And but outside of conflict is, I want to climb that wall, I want to search that room, I want to do this and that. All right, so you roll, and you a turn just passed, you know, and then you do the map, and then you calculate afterwards, and you see, do I have it or I don't? And then if you got it, you narrate. If you fail, the GM narrates for you. That's the whole thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, thank you for watching, and if you got any question, any comments, if it reminds you of one system you've seen somewhere, I'd like to know more about it, and get back at me in the comment section. All right, talk to you soon.